So you want to play Geb, one of the best supports in the game. But the only problem is you don't know how. Well, fret not, because I'm going to teach you how to level his abilities, what his abilities do, and how to build him all in this video. So let's go ahead and get into it. Let's start with Geb's passive, Hard as a Rock. Critical strike bonus damage taken is decreased by 65%. This only works on you, and it's really simple. When an enemy god crits you, you take 65% less damage. Pretty simple, let's move on. Geb's one is where he turns into a boulder and slowly gets bigger until it's fully charged. And then, well, he can slam into enemies. It knocks them back very much and also slows them by 30% for 2 seconds. It's pretty useful. You could use it to get away or go in to attack enemies, but let's move on to his 2. Geb's 2 is an annoying cone attack that knocks up enemies. It's very useful for clearing lane or protecting your teammates, but the only catch is the farther away the enemies are from you, the less damage it does. The closer you are, the more damage it does. So, let's move on to his 3. Geb's 3 is his most annoying ability. He places a shield on him or his allies, and it's extremely annoying. It can last up to 4 seconds and can soak up ridiculous amounts of damage and save your allies from your enemies. It's super annoying when you're playing against a good Geb, but let's move on to his ult. Geb's ultimate is an AoE that stuns enemies for 2 whole seconds. It does decent damage, and on top of that, it has great range. Now, if that wasn't enough for you, Geb's ultimate also takes 15% of the current HP of the enemies that were hit by it, and straight up takes 15% of it, because that's balanced on a Guardian. Now, this is great for starting off a team fight because they're 15% less HP when you start it off, and stunned. This is great. You should get Blink on Geb and just blink into people and just ult them. It's extremely annoying, and it's a great way to start a team fight off. Let's move on to leveling Geb's abilities. When leveling Geb, the first ability you want to get is his 2, then his 3, and then his 1. Put any level ups you can into your ultimate when you can, of course. The first ability I like to max out is his 3 because the shields are great for saving teammates. That's a great thing to get up. Next is his 2, and then of course his 1. But let's go ahead and move on to the building portion of the video. Before we get into the build portion of the video, if you guys like this type of content, please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll make more, of course. But let's go ahead and get into it. Starting with starter items, I like getting Sentinel's Gift. This is my go-to starter item. Now, if the enemy team has anybody who heals on it, Tainted Steel is great. Great for anti-heal. Now, I like upgrading mine into Sentinel's Gift. Benevolence is pretty good. I like Benevolence. It's fun to build on Warriors, but it's also pretty good on Guardians as well. Now, I like getting Gauntlet of Thebes. It gives you 250 health. It gives you 15 HP 5, and it stacks. So let me stack it real quick for you. And when it's evolved, it gives you 50 magical and physical protections, which is pretty big. Now, Emperor's Armor is the next item I like to get. It gives you 300 health and 60 physical protections. Now, on top of that, now your towers and phoenixes, I don't know about titans, but any allied structures, if they're close to you and your aura affect range, it has their attack speed increased by 50%, which is great when dealing with people who like to dive towers a lot. This is extremely useful against aggressive enemy teams and will destroy someone with tower. Now, on top of that, the aura effect also affects enemy towers and enemy structures, like phoenixes as well, and it decreases their attack speed by 30%, which is really good when you're diving towers or phoenixes or whatever it is. Next item I like to get is Mail of Renewal, giving you 250 health, 15 HP 5, and 30 magical and physical protections. And when you get hit by an ability, it gives you stacks of protections. Once you get 5 stacks of protections, it heals you and your people around you, your allies, for 15% of their HP. It heals you immediately for 15%, and it heals over time for the next 10 seconds, 15% of your allies' HP. Next item I like to get is Prudwin. This item slaps especially on Geb, giving you 20% cooldown reduction, 30 magical and physical protections, and when you use an ultimate ability, you get a shield. This shield is based off your protections, and once the timer runs out for it, it explodes, dealing damage to your enemies. This is great for using your ultimate and just pushing forward. You get a shield. Worst case scenario, your shield gets taken and you don't have to use your HP. Best case scenario, you get an exploding shield that deals damage to enemies. Next item I like to get is Heart Ward, giving you 250 health and 55 magical protections, and it gives you the aura effect that allied gods within 70 units of you have their magical protections increased by 20 and their MP5 increased by 30. Now, if you want to upgrade this bad boy, I prefer Amulet of the Stronghold, which converts 15% of your physical protections into magical protections. Now, Amulet of Silence is pretty good, but like it's kind of situational. If the enemies are close to you, you get stacks when they cast abilities, and this stacks up 5 times, and your next basic attack will silence an enemy. It's just kind of like a lot of work for barely any payoff. Other items I like to get is Sovereignty, which gives you physical protections to your allies that are around you and gives them HP 5. Voidstone's great, giving you a bunch of HP and decreasing the magical protections of the enemies around you by 10%. It's very good. Now, Pestilence is anti-heal. Don't think I need to explain much into that. And Talisman of Energy just gives you a lot of aura effects that increase your allies' movement speed, attack speed, and MP5 by clearing minions around you and getting assist from them. Now, relics, if you want to talk about relics, I like getting Shell because you could do shields on top of Shell, and it's just extremely annoying. Now, other items you could get are Blink, because that's, you blink ult, that's kind of thing, with Geb. Now, Horrific Emblems, very good, but most of the relics are really good depending on what situation you are in. They're very situational, and using them to their best potential is extremely useful for your team and yourself. Just don't get Shield of Thorns, because that's what bots get. It's the worst relic in the game. Please do not get this item. But if you guys like this type of content, please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.